we've known each other for many, many years, and I'm excited that you came on with me. You saw my email.
Yeah.
And I want to give you a little bit of context here, just beyond the email, and the reason why I put that out there. And I'm excited to chat with you. And I think I told you I've got a star-studded lineup of people that I'm interviewing. But what's really cool is the diversity of the folks that I'm talking to. I talked to a Navy veteran who is homeless right now, who's trying to change his mindset. He kind of lost his unbreakable, unshakable mindset. He's trying to get that back. To guys like you that have just consistently hit it out of the park in business and have so much value and insight that you can give someone like that. But the reason I sent this out is because what I'm seeing right now are kind of two factions of people. You've got folks that have experienced a lot of loss. They've lost their job, they've lost their income, or God forbid, they've lost a family member or someone they cared about to the virus. And they're sitting over here in this camp, and they're in this fight, flight, or freeze mode. And a lot of them are just frozen. They're a business owner who is on top of the world, and they just don't even know what to do next. They don't know the next step to take. They have all this time on their hands, and they're afraid to move in the wrong direction. Then you've got this group over here who may have experienced something really similar, like is the case for me. I mean, I have no revenue coming in, right? Like I have nothing. My whole business was shut down by the government. But we're finding some way to adjust our focus, to pivot, to be creative, to be innovative. And my hope is through this show is we can help kind of move this group closer here in this direction by changing their focus, giving them a different way to think about things. And it's so funny because I don't even think you got my initial email when you texted me, did you?
No, I did not. I was in my prayer time, and I was just thinking, man, who do I know? You know me, I'm about how can I add value? That's my deal, right? And I'm sitting there going, who do I know whose businesses have got to be hurting right now? And so I think I was gotten out of the shower, and my hair was crazy, and I went, I need to text Ben and see if he's doing okay. And so that's what led me to reach out to you.
How funny, very fortuitous, right? That email had gone out maybe a half hour before you sent me a text.
That's crazy.
And then I got on your Twitter feed or somewhere online, and you had literally just posted something about when you're hit with some adversity, you know, you basically have a choice to make on how to think about it and what actions to take. And so, I always knew you were you had this kind of unbreakable, unoffendable, as you like to say, unoffendable mindset. And it's funny how all that kind of came together within a half hour of you posting something, crazy hair, me sending out an email, and none of us knowing anything about it. And here we are.
I mean, it really is. That's how God works, though. You know, I mean, you know, it's another crazy story is so. My new book, Grit Factor, was supposed to come out 2 years ago. Well, we got an argument with the publisher because they were just not being honest. We had to basically take legal action. Held my book up for 2 years. I get a call last Monday. Hey, I switched over to Zig Ziglar's agent. And they said, hey, great news, your book's ready. And I went, what? Like I'd forgotten all about it, because my team handles all that. And I'm sitting there going, man, if there were ever a time people needed a grit factor, it's now, And so I'm excited for that thing to get here. I'll give you a copy for free, and I'm gonna just give it to everybody that has influence I can, because that book is an entire story about how to adjust, adapt, and overcome. And I interview billionaires in there. I interview Grammy award-winning artists to everybody. And so I'll be sure to give you one of those so we can add value to people through that too.
I would love that. I would love that. Well, what I want to talk to you about, and this can go in a number of different directions, but in trying to move that group over and try to shift their mindset. And that's why I think what we need right now is we need a shift. People are making positive shifts. Some people are making negative shifts. You talk to business owners all day long. You've got some incredible organizations that you've built. You've got people that are killing it right now. Their businesses are growing. Probably know some that their business is almost gone. what are you hearing from people? Any anecdotes, any stories of you're hearing from people that have lost a lot? What are they doing to make those positive shifts?
It's all across the board. I mean, in addition to the companies I own, as you know, I get hired by companies to speak, whether it's, a small group of a few hundred to 20,000 arena. And it's interesting how in one day people are on top of the world. The next day they're laying off people. I mean, a buddy of mine owns one of the most distinguished luxury travel companies. He's on the front page of the Dallas Morning News, had to lay off 111 of his 120 employees or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was on pace to have a record-breaking year, and he and I have done a business deal together, and it's just crazy to look at how a company that's so solid with a solid business model can just boom overnight be gone. And mm-hmm. I have I'll share the same tips with you that I share with him. Just let me know when you're ready. It says record, but let me know when you're ready. What?
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let me know when you're ready, but I'll be happy to, basically I've been heard, on Logan Lives on Monday night, I give leadership advice and leadership tips, and it's just free content to add value to the audience. And I had a ton of speaking engagements, obviously had to cancel, and so, I think as a leader, our job is to always say, okay, control what you can control, right? I mean, thoughts lead to actions, actions lead to habits, habits lead to results. You can either own the moment or be a victim of the moment. And that's not to not have compassion for those that are struggling. I certainly do have compassion for them. So what I'm doing is I'm calling these organizations that were paying me a lot of money. I'm saying, listen, I'll get on a virtual deal, do it free for you. I just want to help. I want to add value. Mm-hmm. And Ben, that's what I see you guys doing with, I had no idea you were doing these. I just was reaching out to you going, how can I add value to you?
Yeah.
Because you do have such an incredible network of successful business owners and executives and just people that help our communities thrive. And right now, I mean, in my mind, I was going, they gotta be struggling. And so listen, here's, I'm going to keep this really simple, but I hope anybody that hears us, sees this, will really take action on this. Sometimes it's the simplest things in life that we take for granted. Right. And so there's three things that we got to do in something like this. We have to learn to adjust, right? It's no different than in sports, right? If the Dallas Cowboys are playing and the defense is running a certain defensive scheme that the offense wasn't anticipating, you don't just keep doing the same thing, right? You adjust. You go to the locker room, you adjust, and you come out and you make different adjustments, right? And business is the same way. You have to adjust, right? I mean, if people weren't doing business online efficiently, they're learning to really quick now, right? And so you have to adjust. The one constant thing in life that exists is that things are going to change. Mm-hmm. And so as a leader, if you don't embrace adjustments, if you don't embrace that, then the second key is you're not going to learn how to adapt within that ever moving environment. And so the first thing is we got to adjust. Second thing is we got to adapt. You have to adapt. It is what it is. I think we have to remember the rear view mirror is small for a reason. You can learn from it, but the front windshield's huge. And I see too many business owners have sacred cow disease, right? Where they're all, well, this is how we've always done it. This is all we've ever known. You're not adapting. Okay. You're not adapting. I've got 50,000 employees across the globe, and we're having a lot of these millennials that are working for us now. One of my attorneys, he's older, he's in his 50s, and it drives him nuts. I said, brother, if you're going to continue to work here, you better adapt. Mm-hmm. Like 85% of the workforce is going to be this market demographic. You better learn to speak their language. You can't beat 1980 logic into a 2020 person. Yeah. And so you have to adapt. The third thing is then ultimately we have to overcome. And that's where the big question, Ben, comes is, okay, all right, Logan, adjust, adapt, overcome. But that's where I'm struggling, right? How do I overcome? I'm hitting that proverbial lid. Control what you can control. There's three things that we can control that we got to bring as a leader in our household, as a man, as a husband, as a boyfriend, as a wife, as a business owner, as a whatever it is, teammate. We have to control our attitude, our effort, and our focus. And this is where people go wrong, okay? Your attitude has to be on point. I've never in my life asked somebody, hey, what's the secret to your success? A horrible attitude. A horrible attitude's a secret. Said no one ever, right? Like, listen, it stinks what's happening right now. It's awful. But we have to level up, right? Having a bad attitude accomplishes nothing, right? I'll tell you some of the great ways to waste time in the world. Worry. If you want to waste time, worry. Worrying accomplishes nothing, right? Number two, start having envy or jealousy about what other people have and what you don't. And number three is start trying to be someone you're not. Those are three great ways to completely waste time and ultimately destroy your potential. Number one, we have to bring great attitude. Number two, we have to bring great effort. It's not the time in the day. It's what we put into the time each day. We have to bring a great effort. And so I say that to say this: if you're worrying, if you're having envy or you're having regret, which, listen, it's normal to have those things. Okay. It's normal to be worried. It's normal to have regret. It's normal to, that's normal. But listen, normal is also being in debt. Normal is also hating what you do for a living. Normal is also having horrible relationships. That's normal is being obese. Normal is not sleeping well at night. Normal is, you get the point. I want to be abnormal. You should have a goal to be abnormal, right? When you think of icons in the world, Kobe Bryant, hey, tell me about Kobe Bryant. He's normal. Said no one ever. Tell me about Luka Doncic. Hey, he's pretty normal. Tell me about Mark Cuban. He's pretty normal. No, listen, be abnormal. And so you're going to have to learn to be abnormal with your attitude, and a time and place where it's normal to be doom and gloom. It's normal to be down. And Ben, you do a great job of that, man. You bring a great level 10 attitude when people go down on level 2s. You're not going to win with a level 2 attitude. So attitude. Number 2 is effort. Listen, what are you going to do? You got to bring great effort each and every day. Right? I mean, you got get off the TV, get off the stuff and figure, because it's easy when you're quarantined at home to get stuck on social media. Listen, I'm on social media. I hope you all will connect with me on social media. The key is use social media. Don't get used by social media. Ben, you'll love this because you're a green personality analytical guy. So we did research in my new book, Grit Factor, on how often people read every day. Because you hear, bookstores are closing down. Nobody reads, right? The actual truth, as the study was done, the typical person reads 1.6 hours a day. That's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
The problem is they're reading 1.6 hours a day of social media, right? They're watching a squirrel riding a skateboard, right? Shamu jumping over a jet ski, right? They're watching just, pointless garbage. And so ultimately we have to be abnormal with our effort during this difficult time. Listen, I got twins. You can see there's an old picture when they were born. I mean, I got twins running around. Are you kidding me? I mean, listen, I got plenty of distractions, right? My wife got a horse. It's a dog, but size of a horse. I mean, we're stuck here, right? But we can still bring great after. Last thing, and this is the toughest thing, is number 3 is great focus, attitude, effort, focus. Picture a bullseye of what you want. And if you can set, the worst thing you can do is try to accomplish all your problems in a day. Right? That's the worst thing you can do. You listen, family, this is big. We tend to overvalue what we've lost and undervalue what we've gained. We tend to overvalue what we just lost, and we're undervaluing what we have the potential to gain. Listen, the great Zig Ziglar said it best. There's no such thing as a smooth mountain. If there were, how in the world would you climb it? Right? It's the pitfalls in life that help us be humble, which will help us to be more hungry and to be more grateful. And I know for me personally, this whole experience is really, it's really helped me reflect. I think we all fall into this trap. I know I do. Sometimes the people that mean the most to me have gotten what's left of me. And in this quarantine, the people that mean the most of me are getting the best of me. That's a big plus that I've seen, right? I've been able to get on the phone and call friends I haven't talked in a while, FaceTime, and so I know I'm rambling here, Ben, but I'm so passionate about this subject matter because, and I'd be happy to add value to anybody on here that wants value added too. I want nothing, here to help. I feel like this is an opportunity for all of us to have a wake up call. I mean, I live in Frisco, Texas. I go to the Gents place in Frisco. And I know some of you are watching this from other Gents locations. Gents has exploded all across the country, and you guys have had a temporary setback, but it'll lead to an epic comeback, I have no doubt. And I feel like, Ben, what you have created is an incredible platform to help people do life better, and that's what makes me tick. My health and wellness company, ID Life, that Troy Aikman and I own together. That our whole passion is to help people do life better. We don't want anything from you. We want everything for you. And Ben, I see that with you. Yes, the platform is you got to cut people's hair. That's how you get to know them, right? But ultimately, the content you produce, you don't see other grooming places doing this. You don't see, they come in, cut the hair, and see you next week or 2 weeks, right? And so I think it's really cool what you're doing, man. I'm praying for you guys. What else can I do for you? What else?
That's great. And it just, I reached out to you without you knowing, trying to add value. You reached out to me, right? Trying to add value. And so to your point, on the things that we could be doing right now as leaders, as business and community leaders, even if our businesses are down, even if maybe you're not interested in making this big pivot in your business, is that there's still so many opportunities to add value and to serve other people in this time. And for me, my personal experience just in life, what brings me the most joy is giving something to someone else, especially my time, and them appreciating it. That's like the most joy that I can experience as a human, is giving something to someone that absolutely values what I've given them. And that is the whole point of the Gents Place. We are trying to, and I think effectively, give you positivity, confidence, and empowerment. We generate emotions in you, not just a haircut, because we have a belief that your emotions in life determine your decisions, and your decisions determine your destiny. Your destiny is just a set of outcomes that you have in life. Those are based on decisions, and those decisions are based on your emotional state. And what you do a really effective job of, and you get people to go along with you, is being in that peak emotional state, a state of absolute positivity, confidence, empowerment, a state of absolute certainty about where you're going to go. And I think about it as like a dial, if you've got like really crappy emotional state, you're going to make these decisions and have these outcomes. If you're in this amazingly positive emotional state, certain emotional state, you're going to have these decisions and these outcomes. You're going to end up in two totally different places. Yeah. And so that's what I love about you, man, is like you show up in that peak state, and your decisions and your outcomes reflect your ability to consistently be there no matter what adversity comes at you. And that's the message that I really want to get to people, that, man, they may have been like you until they had to lay off 40,000 people like Tillman Fertitta did in Houston, or like another guest I'm having on Thursday, Randy DeWitt. Randy DeWitt started Half Shells, Rockfish, Twin Peaks, Whiskey Cake, 60 Vines, Mexican Sugar, Legacy Food Hall, Haywire. He's one of the most brilliant restaurateurs on this planet. Mm-hmm. He had to lay off 98%, thousands of people. Man, it doesn't matter how solid you are and how successful you are. There's going to be a point, even hopefully it's temporary, where you go, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I have been shaken, right? Yeah. And those are the kind of people that we need in our society to get back up and start making stuff happen, which is what Randy did. It's great, man. Within a week of him laying everybody off, I don't want to ruin the next episode, but we'll talk about it. He created Furlough Kitchen, a nonprofit restaurant dedicated to serving free meals every day to service industry workers. Within a week of laying off thousands of people. So he got himself right back up, man, and went down that same path he's always gone down of service. And
adjust, adapt, and overcome, right? That's what he did. The way he overcame, attitude, effort, focus. He didn't sit in his house and dwell on it, and that's you think about it, that's gut wrenching. Just listening to that story is gut wrenching. And listen, I think at the end of the day, with something like this, I say something, I don't know if this has ever happened to this magnitude, not in my lifetime. A pandemic happens like this. You can't help but sit back, A, and reflect, and B, realize no matter how good you thought you were, you're really not that good, right? No matter how invincible you thought you were, we all, it reminds me of this young couple. They're on a honeymoon, and their honeymoon was they went and visited little small towns, okay? And they find this old gentleman in a really small town. They walk up to him, they go, "Excuse me, sir, do you know, have any great men or women been born in this town? Like, are you familiar with this town?" And the old man kind of looks at him perplexed. He said, "Well, I've lived here my entire life." He goes, "But I'm not really understanding your question." And they said, "Well, have any great men or women been born in this town?" And the old man looked up at him. He said, "No, only babies." The moral of the story is, listen, we all put our pants on the same way. Your bank account doesn't make you any better or any worse than anybody else. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we have different gifts, different skills. And ultimately, if our mindset, we can use those giftings, use those skills to leave this world better than we found it. Yeah. And that would be my encouragement to everybody is listen, sometimes we pivot because we're supposed to, sometimes we pivot because we're forced to. Yeah. And either way, you're going to pivot. And I just, listen, I'm praying for everybody out there, and anything I can do to add value, you name it. I've been doing Zooms for companies and their employees, and they're, everything from churches to sports teams to you name it, just trying to bring good, positive leadership mindset stuff to them. It's at a time where I think a lot of people are just, they're all the media, it's doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
I think you're on one side of the fence. Either you're totally bought into doom and gloom or you're on the complete opposite. You're like, I don't know about it.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier, right? Is that we're being forced right now to make a shift, right? And we're either going to make a shift in a negative direction. Child abuse is up, suicides are up, depression is up. You can shift there, or you can shift in a totally different direction, which is this: adjust and adapt and overcome. And I need people to hear that message, that no matter what has happened, no matter what adversity has been delivered to you, that you still have a choice to adjust, adapt, and overcome and move in that direction. And when you do that, especially as a leader, guess what? People move with you because you have influence.
Listen, this is the biggest thing. Wherever you are, there you are, right? So when you grow you, everything around you grows. When you shrink you, everything around you shrinks, right? You attract who you are, not what you want. Yeah. And so what's important is I mean, everything we do and say is going to impact someone in some way. Just always remember that. Yeah. And if you have kids, whatever you do, don't be talking about doom and gloom in front of your little kids. They're gonna be paranoid the rest of their lives. Okay. I mean, it's just important that we just take a deep breath, we step back, and then we come back, adjust, adapt, overcome, and then dominate with attitude, effort, and focus. And again, I'm not trying to, I want to make this point very clear, Ben. I guarantee you there's somebody listening to this right now and they're going, yeah, but Logan, you don't understand. Mm-hmm. You don't understand how bad I have it. I'm not saying I do. I'm not pretending to say I understand. What I am saying is having a negative attitude, bad focus, bad effort, that's not going to solve anything. So you have two mindsets in life. You have the victim mindset or the ownership mindset. Mm-hmm. The victim mindset allows excuses to be its boss. I'm not saying the excuses aren't legit. I'm not saying the excuses aren't valid. I'm not saying the excuses aren't crippling. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is buying into the excuses does not help you do anything better in life. That's what I'm trying to say. So the other option is the ownership mindset, where you own your thoughts, own your actions, own your habits, own those results, right? Own that emotional intelligence that we talked about, right? And I just think it's important that we realize we have a choice. I had somebody tell me today, well, my boss hurt my feelings. I go, nobody can hurt your feelings. Mm-hmm. But he reach his arm down into your body and mess with your feelings? What do you mean? It's either your feelings. Mm-hmm. You control your feelings, right? You have a choice to be unoffendable or you have a choice to be a baby. It's your call. And I said, probably I hurt your feelings right there too, right? It's like, I mean, people, listen, I'm your friend. Everybody watching this, I'm your friend. My name's Logan. I'm your friend. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. Bottom line, here's what I know to be true, right? We make our way in the world or the world makes its way in us. It's that simple. And so, listen, I could go on and on all day long because I'm very passionate about trying to help us all level up during a time when most people are taking a sit down. I want us to stand up, lift others up, and let's all level up together. And that's what's going to help this world be a better place.
It'll help it, man. I want to end with this and share a quick story with you about gratitude. I want to end with how we're finding gratitude right now. And I was on a walk with my wife last week in the neighborhood. We're all walking right now. We're all like professional walkers. And, I was walking with her and I'm like, it's so cool that we're living in such a historic time that people will remember forever. People will remember this era forever, right? People have talked about the Spanish flu for 100 years. They'll talk about it for hundreds of years. This is going to be even more impactful than that because we now have recorded history of everything that's happening. And I was just thinking, man, we've lost all of our businesses. We've laid off 99% of our staff. I've laid off 100 people. And I just I find gratitude in knowing that we're all two things. One, we're all in this together. And two, that it's temporary. Those are two things I am certain of. And I just find an enormous sense of gratitude in knowing we're all in this together and we are a part of history. And we have an opportunity to shape what's next. And I do, you might say to people, I don't know what you're going through. I'm going to put that out there that I do know what a lot of people are going through that have suffered. All my revenue went to zero. I laid off all of my employees, right? I carry a significant burden. And so I want people to know that I am a testimony to bad things happening, and hopefully listening to me and listening to you talk, that it is that choice, and you can find gratitude in this situation if you make the choice to do that. What are you grateful for right now? Has anything new come up that you're really just kind of feeling that gratitude for?
You know, I feel like we all have different gifts, you know, and I've got a ton of weaknesses, more than I care to share, obviously. But I feel like I'm just grateful, like, to have the chance to just share my heart with people and try to help people get their mind right during a horrible time. I'm grateful for the time with my kids. I'm grateful for, you know, my companies, you know, our baseball. I can relate to the baseball, you know, our facilities, Dallas Patriots, the kids can't play. You know, our instructors can't work. Thankfully, we're able to, you know, keep paying them and all that, but they can't do what they love to do. You know, I'm grateful that, you know, I own a health and wellness company where we can give for free, like immune support and give stuff to people that are needing it right now. I'm grateful for that. Really, I'm grateful. I think I'm just really grateful that I've had time to reflect, you know, because I think we get in cruise control in life so much, you know, where it's like every day is just kind of like Groundhog Day, where it's just, we're in cruise. If you remember that movie, we're just getting cruise control. And this is really, you know, I mean, this is the first time I haven't been in my life, in my adult life, where I haven't been, you know, speaking for a corporation or an event at least once or twice a week somewhere around the globe. You know, and to my wife, I said, I don't even know what to think. I haven't been in a hotel one time. You know, this is weird. But I'm grateful for it. And, you know, ultimately, I think the last answer I would give you, I am grateful to see people that maybe, you know, and again, my views are different. I'm going to share something with everybody listening to this because I hope it can add value to you. You don't have to believe what I believe, and I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. But I believe that people are starting to think about, you know, what if I die? You know, what happens after that? You know, and I am a Christian. And to me, a Christian means you love people. You don't judge people. Our job is to connect with people, not go around correcting people. And I wish more Christians would understand that. You know, Gandhi says it best. He goes, I love your Jesus. I just can't stand your Christians, right? They go ahead judging you. And, you know, I am a sinner. I'm a flawed human being. And just conversations I've had with people that have been turned off, don't even believe in God, have just really struggled with the whole concept because of a childhood tragedy, something in their life. They've been open to it, that conversation. And when I actually tell them about the real God who loves them, they're like, oh, that's not what I was taught. You know, I wasn't taught that. And I don't know. I just feel like that's what I'm most grateful for is if we can have an eternal impact and get somebody's, you know, soul repair, right? I think that's going to give people a whole new perspective on stuff. Right. Yeah. Because let's face it, guys, when we die, we're not taking our stuff with us. You know, there's not like a hierarchy in heaven on how many, you know, millions you've earned. Right. Like that's not how it works. And so I just think I'm probably most grateful for the opportunity to help people get a real perspective of what life's really all about.
People there's an opening of minds and an opening of hearts right now. There's this collective awakening, it seems, where Republicans aren't as Republican as they used to be, and Democrats aren't as Democrat, and atheists aren't as atheists, and Christians aren't as Christian. Like, we're all coming together collectively because I think to that point I was making earlier, we're all doing this together.
Yep.
Which is really cool to see, man. Well,
and that's what God wants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People made religion, you know, God did not make religion. People did. You know, and so I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
I love it. Well, hey, I'm grateful for you and spending time with me. We don't get to chat a whole lot. So if this COVID-19 hadn't happened, we probably would not be here. And so I'm grateful for you and spending time with me. And I know you're still busy over there in all the businesses that you're running. So thank you, my friend. We'll get this out to everybody that needs it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate what you do, man. Praying for you guys.
You too, man. See ya.